We're not talking about fermentation to make biosurfactants, right? Sophorolipids, rhamnolipids, things like that. We've certainly talked enough about that. We're talking about fermentation to make feedstocks and intermediates, which are then further converted into surfactants. The techniques include the use of yeast, enzymes, microbes, etc., also anaerobic gas fermentation. And the feedstocks include sugars, oils, waste products, side streams, etc., including industrial off-gases. So let's take a look. There's a bunch of companies using fermentation to make microbial oils. C16 Biosciences is a US company with the wonderful Palmless brand name, making palm-type oils. Right now, it seems like they're focusing on personal care oils for direct addition into cosmetics. Apparently, there are plans to develop C1214 range products in the near future. There's also the Clean Food Group of the UK doing something similar, using yeast to make palm-type oils. They reportedly have 1 million liters of fermentation capacity. I really don't know if that's a lot or not. Someone can educate me. It sounds a lot, not sure. Then there's the other wonderfully named No Palm Ingredients of the Netherlands, using yeast also to create oils out of agri-food waste. And then finally, there's a couple of companies, AIO, not sure how that's pronounced, IO maybe, from Estonia, and Colby of Germany, both operating at the pilot scale and both seeming to use varieties of yeast to convert waste carbohydrate into oils. So fair amount of activity in that area. Next up, fatty alcohols and fatty acids. The joint venture company Future Origins, involving Gino, L'Oreal, Unilever, and Cow, has apparently made recently a 10-ton batch of detergent range alcohol via a fermentation process using genetically engineered E. coli. And their plan is to build a 50,000 ton per annum capacity plant in the US. And apparently they already have an offtake agreement with Cow. If that plant comes to pass and they fill it with the production of detergent range alcohol, I will be impressed. It will actually be a fairly significant first in this field. Another company which I really like is Acies Bio of Slovenia. They have a collaboration with BASF in which they're using fermentation-produced methanol as the starting point for detergent range alcohols, and this methanol is produced from industrial waste carbon dioxide. Again, if this comes to pass, they're at an earlier stage, certainly than Future Origins, but if it does come to pass commercially, I'll also be further impressed. And finally in this category, the company Chaincraft, they're focusing on, right now, it sounds like lower chain length, C4 to C8, so-called medium chain fatty acids from things like potato residues and other food waste. So not exactly in the surfactant sweet spot at the moment, but I think a company worth keeping an eye on. Next, bio-based ethylene oxide. There's actually quite a bit going on in this area. So LanzaTech is using acetogenic bacteria in an anaerobic fermentation process to convert industrial off-gases like carbon monoxide and dioxide into ethanol, which is then dehydrated to ethylene, converted into ethylene oxide. They're collaborating with India Glycols and Dow to make ethoxylates. Unilever's involved in there as well. They've used some of those ethoxylates in some consumer products, and so this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Also, India Glycols has been for quite a number of years now making bio-based ethylene oxide starting from sugarcane and molasses, going through ethanol and again dehydration and oxidation into EO. IGL is collaborating with Clariant in that activity. And finally, of course, the bio-based EO granddaddies now, Croda, have been producing bio-EO in their Delaware plant since, I believe, 2018. so about 8 years, and I thought the capacity was 40,000 tons per year. For some reason, I see online that it's permitted for 30,000. So anyway, it's in that range, 30 to 40,000, significant commercial activity in, again, the Delaware plant. And finally, this is just a small snippet of the information that is available in the brand new Renewable Surfactants report from Green D Market Analytics. That's the great Doris de Guzman. Why do I say the great? It's because she is one of the very, very few true subject matter experts in the field of renewable chemicals. Full disclosure, I collaborated with her on this report. However, I think it's brilliant, and I think you should buy it if you have the slightest interest in the field of renewable surfactants. And we cover everything, all the stuff that I've just talked about in a lot more detail, obviously, and biosurfactants and sugar esters and APGs and amino acid-based surfactants and on and on and on. Biomass balance, the lot. So it's an incredible deal, quite cheap for the incredible richness and density of the information therein. I've got a link below the video, and that is the end of the commercial. Thank you for listening as always.